Oh my god, it's raining here and I am tired. I just want to lay down and take a nap, but I want to check in with you guys and play a little catch up. Um, Probably should have put it in the title, but I have something here. I haven't watched it yet, so we're gonna watch it together. Okay. I had doctor's appointments this morning and they were so freaking far behind. I'm like, how are you behind? Like, how? Let's watch this. It's only 30 minutes.
Show. Really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I really appreciate all of your support. It is now day 86
This was from
since Nancy
yesterday.
Guthrie disappeared, literally just vanished out of her home in Tucson, Arizona. Still no real explanation, still no suspects. It's been almost 3 months.
I can't believe
In this
3 months
episode, I'm
already.
getting into some new information. You guys remember before Nancy Guthrie disappeared, and I've reported on this before, there was this reality show that was set to tape and had already started taping with the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Well, now there are some
Yes, I heard
emails
about
that have come
that.
out through a public record.
So, it's I haven't watched it yet. I can't think of what it's on. It's like Netflix or Hulu, one of the 2. I don't know. I don't do cable, it's too much. Um, but they were following them around, and then this Nancy Guthrie thing happened, and supposedly Nano said that none of this is gonna be in or on that TV show. So,
Records requests. Fox Digital actually got them. They're just interesting because they showed the behind the scenes of the sheriff's office. They also talk about the fact that there were changes in leadership positions in homicide and also in the cold case unit, which is something that I've reported a lot about. The fact that experienced leaders were moved around by the sheriff, and a lot of people are not happy about that, and there's questions about
ooh,
whether
I
that
didn't
may
know
have
about that either.
impacted the Nancy Guthrie investigation. So I'm going to get into that in this episode.
The drill.
Also, this question of whether there is one or more than one suspect involved in this. Obviously, we saw the guy in the doorbell camera, but is there someone else involved? I'm going to ask retired FBI agent Steve Moore about that.
I
And
feel
we've
like there's
heard a
gotta
lot
be
of
another one.
theories that go both way, but he has interesting theory based on evidence that he knows about that he's going to explain here. And a couple of other updates that I've learned about over the last couple of days that I'm going to get into in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates.
Hey Steve, it's nice to see you. Thank you
Good to
for
see you.
joining me again. I always appreciate talking to you about the latest developments with the Nancy Guthrie investigation. There's still so, I mean, I was just telling my friend I get so many emails every day. Still, even it's been months later from people so interested in this case, and a lot of older people around Nancy's age, even or in their 70s, who have just really been impacted by this. And
Those
you
older
know,
people
everybody wants answers, but I
the older people in that community have got to be they gotta be scared, which I don't blame them, but I bet they're all locking their doors now.
it's just interesting. There's a whole, I think, segment of people that are really impacted by what happened to Nancy and are just disturbed by it. I wanted to start off asking you, though, Fox Digital obtained some emails from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. You know, they were working with A&E. There was going to be a reality show coming out where A&E was going to be following around deputies within the sheriff's office in Pima County and getting access to them, going out on calls and that kind of thing. And it's interesting because in the emails, they were trying to obtain
Well, I didn't do
certain
it.
videos and going back and forth about body camera video and asking for interviews with heads of departments. And one of the responses back to them was the department has experienced some rotational reassignments since last year. And they basically said that the head of the cold case unit and the homicide unit had moved out. So they were having some scheduling issues, which, knowing what we know now, what we learned after what happened with Nancy Guthrie, you know, the sheriff had moved a lot of the experienced people out of the leadership roles for really for political reasons, from what we can.
That is the stupidest thing ever, just for a political move. And we know that the head homicide investigator, supervisor, wherever, never investigated one before. Okay, so automatically red flag. I don't know about the people on the ground. I'm assuming they have, but they probably haven't done many, which
Can tell people who didn't support him in the election. I mean, what do you make of the fact that you know this was all kind of coming to light through these emails before we knew any of this was going to happen with Nancy Guthrie?
Yeah, from my understanding, the filming, of course, happened before the murder investigation. But still, when you send them an email and they say, well, we've had rotational assignments that have taken these people, or rotational reassignments, you wonder why they had to specify that as to the reason. We just say, hey, they're no longer in that job. You know how it goes. Um, Plus, I don't remember, at least in the FBI, uh, rotational assignments. I mean, I suppose there are
he just wanted people.
a few, but when you go
To me, it feels like Nanos just wanted people in who are yes men that will do whatever he says. Sorry, I'm doing a little skincare right now. Um, that would just give him whatever the hell he wants, basically.
go into a job, you're expected to stay there as long as you and they want you to be in that position, and it's vetoable by either party.
With some of these shows, I've watched them and it seems like some of them can be good for law enforcement. They show what it's actually like to be a cop, what it's like on the streets. You sort of sympathize more
Those
with the
shows are good. I
officers.
love watching
But I
those.
don't know, there's something about this that's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. I think just since the Guthrie case is still unsolved and you see that, the leadership in the department was taking so much time with these producers before planning out this show. There's also questions like were they getting access to public records more quickly than regular people could have? They were just sending body camera videos back and forth, that kind of thing. What's I guess, your general opinion of shows like this?
It's a mixed bag, Brian. As you point out correctly, it gives people an idea of what law enforcement is really like, and shows them that it's not like it seems to somebody who's just looking at what they see in the news. It is a sometimes terrifying. It's always demanding. And to me, I see uniforms. The FBI has not done anything like this, and I learned more about uniformed police officers and what they
Can you
have to
imagine if
do.
the FBI did a TV
So
show
I
like that?
think they're valuable there. I have always wondered how those things affect legal proceedings of the people who were arrested or detained or part of any kind of situation. I can't imagine uh, uh, a lawyer saying, "Hey, this is a good idea for the department." So yeah,
Mm.
it's a mixed bag, and I can tell you that the agents I spoke with, while the during my career, said that they wouldn't want to have anything to do with anything like that, because if something goes bad, God forbid something goes bad,
Yeah.
um, you've done it on public record right then and there. Certainly now that there are body cams, that's
I kinda wonder if the Pima County Sheriff's Department is getting some type of kickback for doing that, as in money, which I assume they would, because, I mean, it's reality TV, but like this guy just said, if something goes wrong, you literally signed a contract with this company and are giving them full right to use whatever. It's a good idea to actually see what the men and women in blue do and go through, but then on the other hand, it's like, no, no, no. Like you said, in case something goes wrong.
same thing still applies. But it's kind of like driving your car with a camera on you the whole time. Um, it's great if not until something happens that you screwed up, and then you've really
Then it's out there
caused
forever.
yourself some trouble.
And just back to the head of homicide and cold case being moved out, I can't help but wonder if the people with more experience were still in those roles, if we would be in a different place now with the Nancy Guthrie investigation.
We'd be in a different place. I can't say for sure that it would have been solved. I'll bet we would have been way farther down the road and
Yes. Oh my
possibly
God.
solved. It's
We would have been so much further down the line and or had Nancy back. That's all I'm gonna say.
one of those what if type things. And I think the reason, by the way, that the involvement in the show bothers some people is the reason that it kind of sticks in the back of my mind. That there's all these feelings that the sheriff is out there for his own aggrandizement and for building
Mhm.
up his department.
Oh, he is.
And this this kind of plays into that narrative, whether it's true or not, it plays into that narrative.
Yeah, and again, when you see all the hundreds of emails and the time that it's taking the personnel in the sheriff's office to respond to these producers, you do just wonder, there's crime in Pima County. There's a lot of crime.
There's crime
Makes you wonder,
everywhere.
like, shouldn't they be maybe focusing on that instead of like a reality show?
Yeah, yeah. I again, I think
I kinda wonder if Nanos is like, "Yeah, let's do this reality show. It'll help it'll help boost my" I don't wanna use the word ratings because he's not on TV. It'll help boost the public to see him in action and doing things and make them more likely to vote for him. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's the only reason why he did it. Any good cop, sheriff, deputy, whatever, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, look me, look what I did." They're not gonna do that shit. They're not. They don't care about being the hero. They care about the person, the victim.
there's positives and negatives to the show. I to shows like that, and I think overall they've been a net positive. But in certain situations, they've been a significant negative in specific situations.
Are you surprised that they were so interested in this reality show based on what we saw from the sheriff? I mean, he did a lot of interviews initially. There were the press conferences. He seemed to be a fan of being on TV.
Yeah, yeah, it's very troubling when you see something like that, which indicates that the people at the top may be very much interested in media. And keep in mind, this is an elected official here, so any publicity like that would be just immensely helpful. It's also kind of, unsettling that he would be involved in that. And you get some people uh, in law enforcement, and I suppose any other kind of uh, situation where the media is paying attention to you, you get to like that. And when that happens, um, sometimes the primary responsibilities you have take a secondary role to getting your face on camera or getting positive reviews,
Mhm.
something like that. It's disturbing when you see that. Again, these are just my impressions. But it's kind of leaving a bad taste. Well, more than kind of leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I think that there was somebody much more interested in doing things his way than the
Yes.
right way,
Yep.
and getting his face on camera instead of getting
You know what? I wanna look
getting other people's face
I wanna see
on
when their elections
mugshots.
are.
And you and I spoke last time about I had reported that a hair has now been sent to the FBI lab, a hair that was already at the Florida lab that the Pima County Sheriff's Office uses, has now been sent for additional testing, more comprehensive testing with the FBI. And
Oh
since
my
I spoke to you, the
god, listen
FBI
to
actually
this. So, I just Googled Pima County, Arizona sheriff election, when whatever. And the first thing that pops up, it says Chris Nanos. His current term ends on January 1st, 2029. He's a Democrat, ran for re-election for Pima County Sheriff in Arizona. He won against blah, blah. Yeah, we already know that. So in 2029 is when his term's up. I feel so bad for Pima County.
Put out a statement about it, which I thought was kind
Yeah,
of
3 more
interesting,
years
trying to
in it.
read between the lines of what they said. They said, "We're still receiving inquiries on this. This is not new evidence or information," which I knew this isn't like a new hair they found. It's a hair that was found initially and it's just now being sent to the FBI. It says, "FBI asked to test this DNA 2 months ago with the same technology we've always had, when the local sheriff instead sent it to a private lab. Any further developments we will share as soon as appropriate." But the part where they said FBI asked to test this DNA 2 months ago, to me just showed
Why would he say no to the FBI? Obviously, this lab that he sent it to couldn't get freaking any DNA, or maybe they did get the DNA and they're sending it to FBI to have them do like a match thing, which they could be. They could, got it out, whatever, separated it out. But if they didn't, well, we're gonna watch. I don't know. Wait, is it on? Is it Nancy Grace? I can't remember. I'll find it. But maybe we'll watch. They talk about it. I think it is Nancy Grace, and I really don't want to play her because she likes to strike. But if it is Nancy, now that I think about it, okay, we're not gonna watch it. If you wanna go over and watch Grace's episode about this hair thing, go for it. I strongly encourage you to because she just talked to somebody who does deal with this kind of stuff, so lots of good information. But if the lab in Florida did what they needed to do to the hair and they couldn't get a DNA profile, the hair is damaged. It could be no good. So, like, just send it to FBI. FBI. F freaking BI. Like, oh my god. It it's gonna go either way. So we'll know once the FBI's done doing their thing.
a little, maybe a little animosity that's still there between the FBI and the
Oh,
sheriff.
there is still
Yeah,
animosity.
that statement was a little bit more than a little animosity.
Yeah.
For the for the FBI to release a statement like that in any way, shape, or form criticize local partners is really, really not a great thing. And
Mm-mm.
when
No.
they spoke or when they released,
I kind of wonder if Thanos had this thing like, oh, I'll solve this on my own kind of thing before he got freaking waist deep into this whole case and everything went to shit. Like, he probably thought he was gonna be able to solve it, and that's why he purposely left the FBI out and didn't leave the FBI to test that hair right in the beginning.
that, they didn't even use the sheriff's name. And that is really kind of intentional as far as I can see, because if he's an elected official, he would like to see his name on these things, and so by not releasing his name, they're kind of indicating that they're at a distance, working relationship
Oh,
wise.
yeah.
And I think maybe trying to make the point like, hey, we wanted this months ago. We had the same technology months ago. Again, kind of back to you wonder if they had the experienced people in charge of homicide, would things have been different? I'm kind of wondering if they had sent the hair months ago when the FBI first asked for it, if things would have been different.
I can't help but think so. See, when the sheriff is down
I
into the
I think it
weeds
would have been
into a
different.
case so far that he is making the decisions on whether we're going to cooperate with the FBI or not on this one little hair. Imagine what else he might have his fingers on. They say, well, he couldn't really damage the investigation. He's just, a manager. Well, guess what? He's making specific, important decisions in the case. If I was a sheriff and my homicide people refused to send evidence to the FBI lab, we'd have a conference and find out about that. We'd want to know.
If I was a sheriff and I didn't have a good relationship with, like, the FBI because of past situations that, I knew were my fault, but publicly people haven't said it's my fault, I would still want the help because it's such a high profile case. I can see Nanos' side where he's like, I'm gonna do this on my own. Screw you guys. But then the other side, with the FBI being involved, it's more hands on with helping, more eyes to look over things. And it's like I would want the help. I mean, I there was press conferences, I would make sure, like, myself, if I was, like, the chief or the head sheriff of the county, whatever, I would make sure I was in front and, who I'm dealing directly with the FBI, that person was also there too, and we would speak together. We would be the faces of this case, and that's what he's not doing. He's not showing a unity thing.
Exactly why they felt that the FBI's lab was not good enough for them. And I think it's indicative of and a feeling of animosity between the sheriff and the FBI. And it's really unheard of. And it's unheard of for the FBI to say, hey, we asked, we wanted to do it the right way, but the sheriff, for reasons we don't know, needed to send it to a lab
Yeah, he
3,000
wanted to
miles
be a
away.
dick, that's why.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I think that there was definitely some animosity there. In the last couple of weeks, I've talked to people on both sides, smart people, law enforcement experts, people like you. Some believe that
Smart
there
people and people like me.
and people like you, yeah. Some people, but none of them have cute cats that pop up during the
Yeah,
you're the only
I'm
one
I'm
with that.
nervous again.
Yeah, which a lot of people liked, by the way. Um, but
I'm glad.
some people think that there was only one suspect and that it's totally possible to have done this alone. And there are others who are 100% convinced it was at least two people, maybe three or four. Where do you stand on that?
I think that your statement that you just made was absolutely all-encompassing and correct. Some people very, very rightly say that it's hard to imagine a single person doing this. But
Yeah, it is for me, in my opinion, and I wanna know what your guys' opinion is too. Leave it in the comments, drop it in the live, whatever. If you're a replay crew, comments. But I find it hard to believe that one person, okay, because we don't know if there was a car parked in her U-shaped driveway, okay? There could have been one to the left out of the camera. Oh, excuse me, I'm drinking a pop. Or one to the right out of the camera's view. Or waiting on the road, or up that road across from her, like, door, that one that goes up to the dead end. Um, I find it hard to believe. I mean, when I think about it, I wanna pull myself back to it was just one person. Just one person, but that's all that the Ellie has shown us, is there's one person, porch guy. That's it. But I just find it hard to believe that porch guy was able to, how do I wanna say this? Not stalk, but check around the area. I can't think of what the word is. I'm having a brain fart. I'm tired. I need a nap. But he was able to, because we seen that one day prior. I think it was the 11th or something. He was there, January 11th. I want to say February 11th for some reason. Why does February? She went missing before February 11th, but he was there days prior because we have that still picture. He doesn't have his backpack on, he doesn't have his pew pew or anything like that. So he could have been surveilling things, checking what doors are locked and what are not. Okay, I get that. Send one dude out, so you don't get a whole bunch of people and somebody fucks up and triggers something kind of thing. But but I find it hard to believe that the porch guy was able to park the car somewhere because we know she had to have been taken away in a car. There's no way they're gonna carry this woman, however, God knows how far, and not be seen. So there is a car somewhere. There has to be a car somewhere. So he parked a car, walked his happy ass up to the door. We already seen he did the weeds. We seen all that. We seen what he did on the porch in that time frame. Just that time frame. That's all they're giving us. But he I want to say find it hard to believe, but I keep saying that. But he also got into the house, did whatever he did to Nancy, and got her out. Now, I want to show you guys something real quick. Profile. Um. Oop, 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 oop. Okay, hold on. I want to share this real quick because this brings me to my next thing about getting Nancy outside. Okay, that's the wrong thing. Let me see which one is it. Okay, that's not the one I wanted to show. Okay, so this is from Brian Enton's video when he went up to the doorstep. This is from one of his shows he did with the guy. You see like the blood pattern and everything. But look at this right here. That looks like an outline of a knee. Now, the guy that he was talking to during this believes that was on her knees because of how small a lot of this is and how big these are. Now, he said these ones that just show like an outline, like right here and like right in here, these had bubbles in them. So I'm assuming these were from maybe the mouth. We could just assume it was the mouth or the nose, and then you had the little droplets. Okay. Family said they Okay, I already read that. And I took my little thing and I did the outline of a knee. This would I would assume this would be like her left knee. So she could have fell and or you know what I mean? Sound effects over here. And did all this out there. So there's no way that one person was able to stage the vehicle, to get the front door area ready, get in the house, do what they did to her in there, get her out, possibly carry her after she hit her knees, and got her into a vehicle. There's no way. There's too much going on. Oops, I gotta share this.
At the same time, you can't put your weight down on the ice. And I don't mean to be equivocal on this, but the finest, in my opinion, the finest investigative organization in the world is having trouble with this case. So I don't want to sit here on the internet and say I would have done this differently, or I believe this and this and this. I think both are possible. I think it's more likely statistically that it was two people. But when you go back and you look at a lot of the famous kidnapping cases in history, occasionally they are, and frequently they are, sole individuals. But when they are sole individuals, usually what you're dealing with is an infant or a child. Because think about this, you can't live your normal life if you are, if you have guests in your house, it's stressful enough to go to work. But if you have a guest who's trying to escape, it's undoable with one person for any length of time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there could have been, and some others have called it like a chef and a waiter, a boss and an underling? Could there have been a boss of this operation and then some people that were just sort of working for him?
Well, in any situation, there's going to be somebody who kind of has a greater. So I would agree with that 100%. I don't know if it was a formal, if somebody hired somebody. You generally, nobody but a fool would hire somebody to help them with a kidnapping. So it would have to be two like-minded individuals.
Someone that the other person trusts, like a friend, or
Yes, exactly. That's what I would go.
One day and be like, we need money. Oh, who can we kidnap? That's how that could have started. We don't know, and I wish we knew. I feel silly not knowing where their mother is. Oh my god.
Things that I worked have involved people who were friends beforehand, or acquaintances, or relatives, and they all worked together to get this thing done with a promise of shares in the ransom.
when
Yep.
let's say it is more than one person and they've now like made a pact, like we are not going to say a word about this ever. Does that usually stick traditionally?
Nope.
No, no, that will not stick for very long at all. That's anybody who believes that it comes down to one person has everybody has a risk tolerance, and in that situation, one of the two will have risk tolerance that is not as high as the partner, which means they will bail before the other one will.
Yeah, so, like, what he's saying is, let's say there was 3 guys. Example, 3 guys that did this. 1 in the car waiting, 2 going into the house and getting antsy. The dude in the car, his risk tolerance is so low, but he'll do some time, but he is more likely to give up the information of who the 2 guys are and what they did and where she's at.
It's like playing chicken.
Is there any chance the person in the video who we saw at the front door, who maybe is not the boss, let's just say the boss, could be dead? Like, would they, have you ever had cases in the past where, they'll actually kill someone to make sure that they don't
Uh-huh, they
speak
will.
out?
I'm aware of those kind of cases. I've never worked one like that, but it's certainly possible. Um, in that case, you're probably dealing with somebody who is probably much more obviously violent, has killed before, and I think might have uh, handled the kidnapping itself in a different way. But I, again, these are just what we would sit around.
That though, the boss unaliving, let's say porch guy, that is cartel territory. That is gang territory. That is hardcore cartel slash gang territory for them to do that. Or unless their porch guy is like, I can't take this anymore. It's really eating him up for what he did. He's like, I'm gonna go to the cops. I'm gonna go to the cops. And the boss finds out, like, yeah, then they'll take him out, but that it's gotta be, like, hardcore kind of stuff, and I don't think that's what this is. I personally don't feel like it's cartel stuff. I just think it's people looking for a payday that they didn't get.
Around in the squad bay and bat around as possibilities.
Yeah, and the thing too is if that person, let's just say, was, and it's just a kind of a possibility, but was killed, you would think that, they must have had friends and a family, and if someone just disappeared, someone else besides Nancy Guthrie then disappears, wouldn't someone sort of wouldn't that sort of get out somehow?
Especially if it happened in Tucson, yes, because guess who would be investigating it? The Tucson or the Pima County Sheriff's Department would be investigating it, and that would be kind of an interesting synergy if all of a sudden they had somebody who could potentially be a suspect end up dead or missing.
I guess at
Mhm.
this point we only have evidence of one person because we've only seen the person on the camera in the front. Granted, that doesn't mean that they don't have evidence of behind the scenes that we don't know about, maybe shoe prints or something from a
I
different
hope they
person.
do.
But do you think it's possible for one person to
Oh.
have, you know, got Nancy out, put Nancy into a car, or would that have to be a two-person job?
Well, I I saw Jim Clemente on your show and was fascinated by what he said. Jim and I have worked together on several things, and I very much trust his opinion. What I would need to know from Jim on whether I believe Jim believes it's one person, and I would want to know um, what leads him there. I'm not disagreeing with him, but
One person can certainly do all of this. It takes time, but one person certainly can just do everything, but it's putting a more stress on porch guy of getting caught.
and if he says, yeah, there's no absence of a second person or no evidence of a second person, um, I, I'm I would need more than that. I mean, what evidence do we have of that of one person except the camera. If we're saying that we don't have camera of the second one, that to me doesn't in and of itself say there were two. But if Jim
There
says
could
it,
always
I
be
take it very seriously.
there could always be second or a third person that was in her house. There could be 3 or 4. It because I know I think it was Brian N. I can't remember who put it out, but, somebody said that somebody in her home set off the motion sensors. So I don't know if she has cameras in her house or they're referring to the doorbell camera. I mean, I know if a car drive by I hate it, it's so annoying. If a car drives by my house, it sets off my Ring, and I've even put the Ring will give you a little black bar or black, like, thing. You can make it as big or small, as long, whatever you wanna do with it. I've put it on the road so I wouldn't get the notifications, but I wasn't getting notifications that somebody was at my fucking door, so I had to take it, so I have to deal with the little pop-up. I mean, my phone's on silent all the time, but I have to deal with the damn pop-up things. So I don't know if the notification was for outside or inside, but I don't know. It's very well likely there could be more people involved in this that were inside the house that the Ellie knows about, but they're holding video footage, the little thumbtack things that they got of people in her backyard. Like they're holding all of that to their vest. Even though I know, yes, they said there was nobody in the backyard. I'm talking about inside the house.
Do you think
There's
the
the video I
agents,
got
and
that picture
you
from.
know, it seems like the working theory, we don't know, but it seems like the working theory is that this was some kind of ransom situation. You know, it sounds like they believe the initial notes were real and then something went wrong and the whole thing changed and now the people have disappeared. But do you think they have to look at the possibility, and this is one of the questions I've gotten a lot sort of behind the scenes from viewers, that the ransom is like a like a rouse, like they're using the ransom to cover up for something else that was really the motive?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not going to tell them they're absolutely wrong. It's not what I believe happened. I believe that this was an amateurish kidnapping that went bad, and they broke the first rule of getting a ransom, and that's losing what you have to bargain with,
Yep.
losing your bargaining chip. And then when it went sideways, and by sideways, I mean the Guthries and the FBI would not pay a ransom without proof of life, they're screwed. They broke the first law of kidnapping.
First law.
And that's why we are where we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Something else I've been wondering about is a vehicle. You know, there was some surveillance video early on from quite a ways away, but it was possible. And the sheriff's office said that it is part of the investigation. They're looking into it of a white SUV going by.
Yeah, we haven't heard
And
anything
they
more
said
about
early
that.
on that they were reviewing thousands of images of vehicles, I'm guessing from like traffic cameras in the area. But I just think back to the Brian Kohberger case, you know, that white Hyundai Elantra, that was sort of the first big break when they said we have a vehicle that we want everybody to look for. Are you surprised that we still don't have a vehicle in this case?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am, Brian. I just in the world as it is today, with the technology we have on doorbell
Yep,
cameras,
everybody has a camera. Almost everybody has.
and the fact that doorbell cameras are used by a large percentage of the elderly population. I'm not saying that everybody in Catalina Hills there were elderly, but a lot were. I am surprised that um, we don't have anything more on the car. And as far as, you know, the white car they're talking about, you have to go in to their chroma key and to the technology and determine, well, was it white? Was it beige? Was it light blue? Things like that, that on a camera that is set up to see relatively well in the dark, how it modifies certain colors. So I would say white appearing car. But yeah, I'm really surprised that we haven't seen that.
Is there any chance that they do have a car and would they not release that for a reason?
Yes and yes. Yes, the Bureau, you know, we get a lot of these things where a new piece of evidence comes out. and a new piece of evidence. And the FBI will say, everyone, we've had that since day 4 or day 5. We don't, you're not on our list of daily case updates for the director, Um, so the
It could be
FBI
hiding
and
stuff.
law enforcement in general are only going to release what needs to be released. They are not a media company. They are an investigative and prosecutive organization, and media uh, response to them is a necessary requirement, but it's a meet the minimum standard requirement.
Yeah, that's like why when they first released the photos from the front camera of the suspect, and it was Kash Patel who actually put them out. I was thinking, it doesn't seem like they do that unless they really have to. It's not something they just want to do.
I can tell you authoritatively that's the case. And it's not because the FBI hates the public. It's not because agents don't want the people to know.
They can spook
The
them.
FBI wants them to know. They want to tell you everything about the case, right down to the tiniest detail. They want everything to come out in trial. They are not hiding this. They are preparing for trial where they will tell you everything, because that is where the public has the absolute right to know. We have public trials. We don't have public investigations. Those are the two differences.
So
Spook them
do
and they
you
run,
think there's
and they hide
significant
harder.
information the FBI knows about this investigation? Because like, my sense is no, honestly. I mean, I just feel like there's so little. But what do you think?
If they had significant information, they would have more progress on the case.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think what you would find is, if you could go in and get briefed by 4 or 5 different agents who are working it, you would find so much information that ultimately turned out to be of little or no value, but seemed so promising at the time. And it would probably light a fire on social media if the public knew these things, and it would light a fire that would not be helpful.
No, it would not be.
Interesting.
No.
And speaking of,
Social media, if social media knew everything that LE knows, FBI knows, oh my god. It I don't know how to describe it for people who don't know what can happen. The wrong people can be harassed. The right people or the kidnappers could be harassed, and that's just gonna push them further into hiding. Um, People can get pew-pewed over stuff that's posted online. It can turn into the biggest shit show you have ever seen, and it would not be good for the prosecutor's case. It wouldn't be good for anybody's case because of how bad things will get online, and a lot of people take stuff into real life.
helpful and not helpful, I don't know if you remember, the Cajun Navy submitted a plan to the sheriff's office. It's like a month ago, saying that they wanted to organize a search, bring in resources, drones, dogs, and they wanted the sheriff to approve it, and they wanted to search where the sheriff wanted them to search. They wanted guidance from the sheriff. They didn't want to just come in and do it on their own. The sheriff basically ignored them. We never heard anything again. Well, now the Cajun Navy has come forward and said, we want to submit a revised plan to the sheriff's office. We want feedback from the sheriff's office, and we want to revise our plan so that you'll approve it and we can help. And I still don't think they've heard anything.
He's not gonna approve
Where
it.
do you stand on that?
I'd have to see where somebody said that there were negatives involved in it. I mean, why not? What are we losing here? You already released the crime scene too early. Now you're
Yeah, they're releasing the crime scene too early, yeah. The legit Cajun Navy, they they take time out of their own time, their own money to go places and do these things, and they are an amazing group. Now there is another Cajun Navy that is fake, The legit one is the one you want.
Afraid that they're going to, trump on your crime scene again. Um, I I'm not necessarily 101% hopeful that they'll find anything, but how is that going to destroy society in the Tucson area? Let them do it. Show them some respect.
Fresh eyes. Even though he said they're probably not gonna find anything, we don't know. We do not know. They will clear, ponds. I know in Sebastian Rogers' case, I think it was within 3 days or a week, they cleared, like, 70 some ponds. Like, they get in there and they get shit done. They work with local law enforcement on grid searches. They have things where they can, they I don't know if it's like a handheld thing or I think it's an app. I'm pretty sure, well, now that I think about it, I think it is an app they have on their phone. They open their app or whatever, and the app follows them. Like, it literally traces their steps. So, like, think of, like, if you have Life 360 on your phone and on your kids' phones. If you click on actually, let me see here. Let's do my son because my son okay, so if you click on, like, your son that drives to school, okay? You got his name at the bottom, whatever, it's right in on his. There's little, like, pins on the right-hand side. You click that, it'll show you the exact track and when the 360 app, like, like, checked in and shows you everything, like, where he went and everything. That's what this app does. It follows them, so it already shows on a larger map or on the full scale map every single person that's out there that and where they went. So we already know, hey, this area's been checked. Let's move over to this area. Nobody's been here. And then the line will follow them. And they need fresh eyes. And I'm probably assuming like exploring with Jim. Yeah, exploring with Jim. He's been all over on his dirt bike. So I'm assuming he would have found something. But it's just fresh eyes. They've followed the case, they know what's going on, but they haven't actually seen the crime scene. They haven't even been there because freaking nanos don't want them there.
They're willing to help you. Why? If somebody could come up and say, this is the reason we don't want to do this, that would be cool. I get that if you have a reason, but not responding to them is
Yeah, that's
a little counterproductive and disrespectful.
Also, I mean, just even if they just stayed away from the crime scene, I mean, there's vast desert out there,
Oh,
and there's
I
a lot of
assume they
other
would.
unsolved crimes.
Oh
I
yeah, they
mean,
wouldn't.
who
They
knows what
wouldn't
they
be.
would find out there?
I don't even think they would even go near her house. They might meet up there, and then 2 go down this road and 2 go down that road, and then 1 goes up the dead end road, kinda like that. But no, they won't go in there. They may wanna talk to Annie or Savannah, ask them or more likely Annie because she was at Annie's house that night. Just talk to her, see just ask them certain questions and stuff like that, but other than that, they're gone. They're out looking. So there's no reason why they should at least got something back from Nanos. Even a, "Hey, we don't need your help at this moment. If we do, we will call you." That's what he could have said, but he didn't. He didn't even respond to him.
You know?
Yeah, what's funny is I went 20 years ago or something. We were looking for a missing plane, and we searched for 2 or 3 days. We found 5 planes, uh, not ones that people were still looking for, but planes that had crashed that nobody would even know were still there. They don't always remove the wreckage. I was astounded at the things you find during an aerial search. And so I 100% agree with you. They could find all sorts of things that might work
Find
with other
other
cases.
people.
I do wonder if it's an ego thing with the sheriff, like not really wanting anyone else to have any success
Yep,
so
that's
that
what it
they
is.
can be the one in the end to say we did it.
I I hope that would not be the case. I can't rule that out at all at this point.
That's what he thinks.
I would hope that he wouldn't want only him to have success in something like this, but I would hope that he would at least, I don't know.
This just popped into my head about the whole ego and nanos thing. Theory. Okay. I'm not going to try to go off on a tangent. I wonder if he said no to FBI, Cajun Navy, and whoever else he said no to because he wants to look underfunded. Okay? But follow me here. If his department looks underfunded, then they can get more grants and money coming in. You see where I'm going with this? Read between the lines if you know the past.
I just can't rule that out. It just seems to match some of the scenarios.
As always, I really appreciate Steve for taking the time to talk.
Okay, so yeah, that was that on Brian. We probably should get to the Kohberger thing because the Kohberger thing is kind of long. I don't know. What the heck is going on with this page? Okay, yeah. This is what it was. I'm gonna skip through
Is that this
because it is kind of just
America First conservative
my free trial of YouTube ran out and I refused to pay for it, so we're just gonna have to watch, some ads. What the heck?
taxes and regulations so families and small businesses can thrive.
The real reason for leaky gut is often misunderstood.
Everything you wanted to know about leaky gut.
didn't do it, or that Brian Kohberger
Okay, so this is the book. It's not out yet. I kind of want to get it and read it. I mean, if you guys want me to, I'll get it and we can do I can read it on here and we can listen to it and stuff. But basically, in this book, the guy who wrote it, I'm pretty sure his name. It's Christopher Whitcomb. Brian actually talks to him in this. He got a hold of some documents that were not public documents, and I don't think he thinks Brian did it. I don't know. Just listen.
the case that either Brian Kohberger didn't do it, or that Brian Kohberger had an accomplice. And
That's what it is. He either thinks Brian didn't do it or had an accomplice because for young college students, keep that in mind, young, especially Ethan, he was built like a brick house, dude. Like he was strong. Supposedly Brian unalived 4 young college students in 4 minutes. He had to have been on some, if you know what I mean, to through all that.
police have said repeatedly that there was no accomplice. And if you think about it, if you know the case, if you followed the case the way I have, the accomplice thing, again, first of all, he pled guilty. Police have said there's no accomplice. But
wait, who remembers when Brian got arrested? And I think he was at the Pennsylvania sheriff department, wherever they took him to hold him after they raided his parents' house. Who remembers him saying to an officer, "Did the other guy get arrested yet? Or did you get the other guy?" Something to do with the other guy. Nobody's talking about that anymore. That was just like a flyby thing. So keep that in mind. And just think about if there was a second person, could 2 people have done this? Or did he do it by himself?
if you just think about it outside of that, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because who would his accomplice be?
Yeah.
Brian Kohberger had no friends. No one seemed to really like Brian Kohberger besides his family.
But I think he went running with some guy. Him and some other guy, and I think the other guy was in his apartment complex. They used to do something together all the time. I think it was running or working out or something. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy that he used to run or work out with. So I don't know anything about him. It would take me forever to dig up the video of him talking, because there is a video of him talking.
And I've talked to the investigators who went through his cell phone. And he was close to no one except his family. He basically texted no one except his family. He was close to his family, and he was close to his dog. So the idea of some secret accomplice, someone that he was close to enough and communicating enough with that they would be able to work together on these murders, it just doesn't make sense to me. And again,
I'm sorry, but he literally almost blends in with the background of the shower.
police have repeatedly said that Kohberger acted alone. I struggled with whether to do an episode on this book, but the fact is, author Christopher Whitcomb, he did get a lot of new information. I've read the book, and there's new stuff in there. The book does give us a glimpse into what Brain Kohberger's defense would have been if there was a trial, and we didn't get to see that because there wasn't a trial. And Whitcomb did get documents that no one has ever seen. Okay, yeah. There's letters from Kohberger to his parents from jail. Those have never been publicly accessible. I don't know how he got those. There's FBI interviews with Kohberger's mom. I've never been able to see those transcripts until I read the book.
And that must tell you something, because Brian Edton is an amazing journalist. He actually cares about what he does. Brian, if you ever see this, you are an amazing journalist. I'm telling you right now, dude. Keep going. Keep climbing that ladder, dude. You might be the new David Muir. But anyways, for Brian Edton not to be able to get his hands on these letters or these interviews kind of makes you wonder, this guy that wrote the book, like, what kind of pull does this guy have? I probably should Google him. I probably should have done that, but I didn't, and I will. But like, Brian gets his hands on everything. People love Brian Edton. So how, like, and this stuff must be some pretty serious stuff, and Brian could not get his hands on it.
Book, the author even claims to have a recording of Kohberger's lawyer, Ann Taylor, talking about why they decided to take the plea. And there's even like quotes in there summarizing what Ann Taylor said, which is, all of that is new. Those are things that I didn't know about. So there is new information. And just like I've covered every other detail of this case,
We're gonna go.
I am going to cover.
We're going to go.
The bag was sealed.
Oh, it's okay.
Watch what Meg.
Okay, so the guy that you just saw on the screen with Brian Edton, that is Christopher Whitcomb. This is the guy that wrote the book. We'll listen to this.
Initialed underneath the tape, and it went to the crime lab. The crime lab.
Okay, hold on. Let me back up a little bit.
Name and the date.
He's going to be talking about the chain of command with evidence. Okay, so this is really important.
And anyone who was handling the knife sheath, and this is what Whitcomb says about that.
Here's the problem. The problem is the knife was placed in a bag. The bag was sealed, initialed underneath the tape, and it went to the crime lab.
The initial under the tape is the detective or whatever they're called that takes evidence. They initialed it, or they sealed it in the bag, and they put their initials on it. Okay? Chain of command. And then he just said they taped it, they initialed it, and sent it off to the lab. There's steps missing in here. Every single person that touches evidence, even if it's in a bag, has to sign the bag. Okay? There's more to this, but I'm just pointing that out because then you'll.
The crime lab said, we can't process it. There's no chain of custody. And a chain of custody is a cornerstone in the.
I meant chain of custody, not chain of command. I'm tired. Give me a break.
Rules of criminal procedure that document the provenance. In this case, it's particularly important because we're talking about a few cells of human DNA on the knife sheath, and that's the foundation. So then it goes from there to photographs of the bag afterward, days later, where suddenly there's a chain of custody on the bag. Then the issue becomes, for the defense, the issue becomes the chain of custody form appears to be written in the same pen, a black felt tip pen, and it appears that all names on that chain of custody were written in the same handwriting. If that's true, the defense at trial would have challenged the admissibility of the sheath because of the chain of custody issues and a discrepancy about where it was found. And if the judge, And many, many people in my experience would say the judge would had to have excluded that evidence. If that knife goes away, all the prosecution has is the white car and the cell tower pings, and a death penalty.
See? So there's more to this about their chain of custody of how they do things. They're gonna get into it in a minute, but let's stick with just the topic of the chain of custody of writing the name on the back. I mean, you see it on TV shows, you see it in movies, okay? But there's a different way that some LE do it now. But if the new way that the LE does it didn't exist, Brian would have got off scot-free. I bet you he would have got off scot-free if they were still writing their names on the back. Okay? No chain of custody, then there's nothing. How do I want to put it? They could have said, "Oh, well, so and so placed it there, da da da," and took his DNA because I'm assuming they fingerprinted him. Probably took some DNA. I'm sure they took DNA to put him into like CODIS or whatever, because he's an unaliver. So he could have got off scot-free.
Penalty case where you have to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's a big deal. It's a real big deal.
So why do you think he took the plea then? Why did Ann Taylor let him take the plea?
That's a great question, and I think my answer is this: I don't know, but I know what Ann Taylor said, because I wrote in the book that a person, one of my sources, called her and talked to her and recorded the call. So she did not tell me, but I have heard her state in her own words why she did it. And her answer was that Brain Kohberger did it himself. She did not change his plea, or he didn't, he made up his own mind and she doesn't know why. She said that number one.
So Whitcomb is saying that the knife sheath could have been thrown out in a trial, which would have.
Yeah, so if that would have got thrown out, that was their basis for everything. That is what this whole case was built on. Was that little DNA found on under, like, I think it was like in the button or something like that. Just that little bit of DNA would have got thrown out. They still don't have the stabby thing. And as far as I know, they've never found it. I have a pretty good idea of where it's at, but I'm on the East Coast. I can't go out there and look for it. I mean, the long way he took around, oh, it's out there. It's got to be out there. But yeah, if that would have got thrown out, Brian, he probably would have got off scot-free.
Have led to Kohberger not getting convicted, he says. And he says all the prosecution would have is the white car and the cell phone pings. So first of all, Kohberger's car repeatedly going by the murder house and then speeding away.
Think about this too with this video. Okay, this is Brian's car right here. Now, if that sheath would have got thrown out, all they would have had, like they said, was this video and the cell phone pings on the tower. He could have said he got lost. He went out for a drive and got lost. You can't prove anything. He could have lied.
Way is legit evidence. And the cell phone pings nearby and the fact that he turned off his phone during the time of the murders. So to just discount all of that the way Whitcomb did and be like, oh, jury wouldn't even care about that, to me doesn't really make any sense. I want to introduce you guys to the sponsor of today's episode, Incogni. Identity. Ever bring it up? Remember, she filed motion after motion after motion trying to get evidence thrown out in the case and bringing up issues in the case. And if she thought she had a chance to throw out the biggest piece of evidence, which is sort of like what Whitcomb tries to allege here, then why wouldn't she have done it? Why wouldn't she have brought that up? Why wouldn't she have insisted on going to trial? Because
there's a reason why she didn't do it, and he's going to get into it.
This was such a big deal. Instead, her client took a plea deal, and there was no trial, and he admitted guilt. Kevin Fixler with the Idaho Statesman, he spoke with the Moscow police chief about these allegations involving chain of custody. He wrote in his article, which I'm going to link below for you. He wrote, Moscow Police Chief Anthony Dollinger, a captain in charge of the city department's detectives at the time, said his agency, in collaboration with state police, met the legal requirements for
Pause. Sorry. Okay, now listen to what he's about to read, because this is going to tell you why she didn't get the sheath/chain of custody thing out, or get it thrown out.
processing the King Road crime scene. That included the needed documentation for individual pieces of evidence, such as the knife sheath. He told the Statesman in a phone interview, the local department has not documented evidence chain of custody with handwritten notes in a log for at least a decade, Dollinger said. Instead, Moscow police rely on electronic barcodes and green stickers with evidence numbers, and that system worked in this case, he said. The Idaho State Police did not respond to the Statesman over several days to meet a requested deadline. The main thing is the integrity of the packaging to show clearly that the seal and signature has no cuts, scrapes, or tears, Dollinger said. From my knowledge and experience, this is not a game ender for that piece of evidence. Now, this is the police chief saying that. We followed the facts and the evidence showed that we followed the facts and the evidence showed that one person did this, he said. One person did it, and he admitted to it. To me, it's pretty cut and dry. We saw zero evidence of anybody else being involved. So he's saying the theory Kohberger had help is just that, a theory. They have no evidence.
Okay, I want to talk about the chain of custody thing. So what that police chief is saying is that they have barcodes on the bags now. And I'm assuming, okay, so I'm working a crime scene, okay? Bill over here finds the pew-pew. Let's say pew-pew. Which, well, shoot, pew-pews don't go in bags. I don't think they... Do they go in... Well, let's just say they go in bags, okay? Little handheld pew-pew. Puts it in a bag, tapes it up so it is sealed. He initials it on there, probably date and time. I'm assuming that also goes on there. And he's like, hey, Mick, hey, I have this. I take it from him, okay? It's got the barcode on it. I'm assuming it's an app or something. I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's an app on my phone. Pull up my phone. Beep, beep, scanned it. Now it goes into... Because I'm logged into my own account. Everybody has their own account. And now when they're trying to go through chain of custody, they can go into that app, go to the pew-pew, and see Mick touched it, Bill touched it, Ryan, Sally, and Susie all scanned it, and now chain of custody. So that's why I think she didn't get that thrown out. Because they scanned it. They have a scanner thing. They scan it somehow or whatever they do with it to let them know so-and-so and this person has looked at this evidence, has had it in their hands. So he was already screwed.
To support, and again, who would it have been? Who would have been this accomplice with Kohberger really having no friends or associates that we know of? And we've done a lot of digging into Kohberger. What is new in the book?
I just find it hard to believe that it took him like 4 minutes to unalive 4 young, healthy, strong adults. That's where I'm like I said earlier, he probably was on. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing. Because we know he does have past rug use. So I just find it hard to believe that it's too big of a house for one person to do 4 kids. Yes, 2 kids were in one room, 2 kids were in the other room. But it still doesn't explain how Murphy got trapped in the one bedroom. So...
book, and this was something that I found interesting, is Whitcomb claims to have insight into why Kohberger took the plea deal and what Ann Taylor said about the plea deal. And he cites a source who had a conversation with Ann Taylor, and he writes in the book, she said there was no clear-cut answer, just that they had fought their asses off and filed every motion under the sun. So I asked her directly if she had talked to him, her client, if she had asked him if he had done it, if she had asked him for any details whatsoever that would explain what happened inside that house. And I'll tell you exactly what she said. She said there was nothing. She had no idea whether he actually did it or not. She told me she followed ethical guidelines and talked pros and cons with him, and then he read all the reports we had compiled. She told me he talked to the psychologist and his parents leading up to the decision to change his plea, but said the decision was his, that he made the choice for himself. And I'm sure this is probably true, but in the end, what bothers me the most is that she never asked him how or why. She seemingly never asked her client for a single detail about these horrific crimes. She allowed him to plead guilty, knowing he was not going to explain anything in court, that he was not going to explain anything to the parents of those kids or the investigators, who will never be able to put the loose ends together. In my opinion, she watched him stand up in that courtroom and take the plea, perhaps knowing it was broken. So this part confused.
I wish she would have asked why. Why did you do it? I wish she would have asked how. How are you able to do this? What led you to want to do this? Because we'll never get the answers. Their families will never get the answers, and that's what sucks. Because I do follow, um, Kaylee's. I want to say it's Kaylee's mom that does it. There is a Facebook page, the Gonzalez family page or something like that. You can find it on Facebook, but she does whoever's running that page, I'm assuming it's the mom. She does a lot of updates on there. And she's talked back to me. I've gave her words of encouragement and stuff, and she'll reply back to you if she's got the time to sit down and do it, because there are a lot of people that do leave, encouraging words and stuff like that. And she's even done videos of her going through Kaylee's stuff from the house. Like, she even found a freaking, was it a macaroni noodle in one pocket? I remember that. Like, she's just finding things, and I think it's really good and healthy for her to do that. I'm a widow myself, but I just wish the families could have got closure. They could have found out the reasons why. Who knows? Maybe one day Brian, probably the way his brain works, won't do it, but he could just have a change of heart and be like, "Hey, I'm going to write letters, and I am going to write letters to each of the families of the 4 students and tell them why." Ethan was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He wasn't even a target. He wasn't even supposed to be, well, Kaylee wasn't even supposed to be there because she didn't live there anymore, but she was up there visiting. Ethan just happened to stay the fucking night. Like,
Confused me because for me, I mean, just thinking about this, what about the plea is broken? Kohberger decided to take the plea to admit guilt, and he did it. He took the plea. The prosecution agreed to it. All of this happened in open court. He was asked repeatedly in court if he wanted to do this, and he said yes. So this whole idea that the plea, it's a broken plea, I have a hard time really understanding. But as I mentioned, there is new information in the book. There's letters that Kohberger wrote to his family and also wrote
oh, listen to this next thing. Oh my God. This is going to tell you how freaking mentally messed up Brian Kohberger is.
to his dog from jail. In one letter to his dog, and his dog happens to be named Scout, he writes, "Dear Scout, earlier you and I, unbeknownst to you, communicated. I have no doubt that your heart was conscious of what I intended. Always of your pack, brother Brian C. Kohberger."
Okay, wait. So Brian and a dog shared like a communication, but the dog didn't know it. Make that make sense. Okay? Dogs do communicate. I have an 8-month-old puggle. You guys, you can see his videos of him on my shorts, and I think on my community tab I have some pictures of him, which I was gonna upload a new one here today too. But he's at the point where if I'm sitting there, he'll come and he'll lay like his head, like his chin, like, on my chest or on my stomach or on my arm. And I've looked that up, and that's called like he's trying to bond with me, which we've already bonded. But then at the end, Brian says signs it something of the pack, your pack. He thinks he's a fucking dog. I get it. Good example. The dog, my ride or die dog. I miss this dog so much. Oh my god, he was so cute. That I had before the one I have now, Pugsley. He was my ride or die. I had his mom when he was born. Like I was there when he came out, and I was there when he went out of this world. Okay. Um, he how do I want to put this? So when I became a widow, I moved back home because my late husband was in the military. We packed our house up, and moved me and my son back home so my son can be closer to both sets of grandparents, both sides. Okay, that's the only reason why I moved back for him. Um, it was just me and my son for the longest time. Well, not for the longest time, for like a year or two. Okay, and then I met the man that I'm with now. Love him. He's amazing. Um, my ride or die dog, he if you would come up to me and like, play hit me, and I'd be like, ouch, kind of thing or whatever, but kind of make it look more realistic. Um, he would jump on top of me and like protect me. Like this is a little dog. He was like a Chihuahua Pomeranian Jack Russell Terrier mixed, I guess. I don't know. It must have been on his mom's side because I also had his dad. His litter was an oops litter. That was my fault. I'll admit that. But his dad's full-blooded Chihuahua. His mom, we're assuming, was mixed. She looked like just like a little Chihuahua, long-haired golden Chihuahua. But so this tiny little 10-pound dog that's fluffy as all get out is on top of me, protecting me and barking at whoever's play hitting me. Okay, he protected me. So we decided to do it with my son. He protected my son, and then we did it with my stepkids, all three of them. He protected them, and he protected the guy that I'm with now. Um, yes, we were. I think he looked at us as we were in like he was a part of our pack because there is 6 of us. So like he was a part of our pack, but Brian saying something of your pack or whatever he said, that's just weird. I'm sorry. I would never refer to my family or my dog as a pack. It's just weird. I'm sorry. It's just weird.
So that was the letter that he wrote from jail to his dog. And another letter to his sister. This one is dated April 6th, 2023. He wrote, "Dear family."
Ooh, and this one. I believe there are some I don't know, I wanna say hints. There are some words in this letter he wrote to his sister that he's saying certain things because she's gonna know what it means. I really should have took a nap before I did this live because I am so tired and I can't think straight. But there are some things in here that only she would know. She is a therapist, and so is the other sister. There's a second sister, okay? So there's that I know of 3 kids, Brian and his 2 sisters. So the 2 sisters are therapists, Brian's in jail now. But yeah, you'll understand. There are some words, and it's just weird how he talks.
Family. Oh no, sorry. That was to his family. This one is to his sister. Dear Amanda, he spelled it Amanda, YZZ. In the abstract sense and via intuitive capacities, the August effect can be analogized to the gravitation of heart's promise unto the green pastures ahead, always in your heart, Burns, Brian C. Kohberger.
Yeah, weird.
I don't know what that meant, but on October 6, 2023, he wrote, "Dear family, together, hand in hand, and galvanized by the wisdom of the singular heart, we triumphantly ascend to new peaks, thus apprehending the beautiful pattern, form of the labyrinthine path taken afore. Indeed, we have traversed many once novel territories, finding that when all else may seem variable and tropic, it is the one constant from which clarity and serenity are ever accessible. Love always, Brian B.C. Byrne, buddy, brother, Brian C. Kohberger."
First off, what's up with all the names at the end? Okay? And did you just like the words? I get it. He's smart, and I'm happy that he is smart because smart people run this world. They help invent things. They do all kinds of stuff, which is awesome. But he's too smart for his own good. And I'm really sorry that it'll look crazy. But who talks like that? I've never met anybody that talks like he does in letters. It's weird.
Then there is this long, and this was also new, I found this interesting, there's this long interview with Kohberger's mom that the author claims to have parts of when the FBI interviewed Brian Kohberger's mom after they got the search warrant at their house and arrested Brian Kohberger at the parents' house in Pennsylvania. It says, though the first part of the interview was not recorded, Special Agent Bailey clearly seems interested in the K-bar knife police say Brian purchased with an Amazon gift card while living in Pennsylvania approximately 8 months before the crimes. Mary Ann, who is Brian Kohberger's mom, did not know if Brian purchased anything for this purpose and was unaware of Brian specifically purchasing a knife for this purpose. The second part of the FBI document is a transcription of the larger recorded interview, and then has the special agents there. 38 pages. The transcript is too long to reprint here, but some sections provide fascinating glimpses into the man himself. Jurors often want context beyond forensics. They want to know how to reconcile the tall, awkward defendant. And it says, we supported him, Mary Ann Kohberger said. Both my daughters, they're both therapists, so we read a lot of encouragement and a lot of support from them. We've always been there for him. It seems like she's referring maybe to when he had drug issues at one point. It was very short-lived. It appears she said this in response to a question about Kohberger's drug use during his late teens. We were fortunate in that regard because unlike in our community, a lot of families were not as fortunate. It was very ongoing. And we had a lot of people that we know lost children to it, and we feel really lucky and very fortunate and blessed. He's my angel, she said. There's no better person to tell his story. He's my angel. They asked did he socialize with any friends. He doesn't go out in big groups. Friends, no. He touched base with one of his best friends from Arizona who's still in Arizona, but no, he's been mostly home with the family, just chilling. She calls her son a homebody. Says everything seemed normal when he returned home from school. Tells the FBI her son is a regular guy who likes to run but does not work out. Says her son was happy to see Scout the family dog. Calls the dog his Bubba. Again, called him her angel. He's kind. He's your baby. Says that her son is not angry. Not an angry.
I'm sorry, I can't do.
Take your bra.
Yeah. So if you want to go finish watching the rest of that, please do. I want to do some. Let's do a palette cleanser, like the Brian Kohberger shit. Like I kind of want to get the book just to read it. I kind of do. I want to see what this was about.
10 seconds. Hello, hello, hello. JLR Investigates. Look who I'm with. The great Ted Investigates.
Hey, everybody.
Annoying.
JLR Army Strong.
Storm chasing. Where are we at, Ted?
We are in...
Hold on. Badass news on X. Idiots Unite. Let's see what this is about.
Godot...
Cape Girardi.
Cape Girardi, I'm sorry. Yep.
Cape Girardi. Right, people coming into the chat. Come on in, folks. I'm setting up shop here. Onto the channel. See a lot of people starting to pile in. Yeah, people are starting to pile in. Look at that. People are starting to pile in.
Oh, yeah.
So, missed it last night.
Yeah.
10 seconds. Hello, hello, hello. JLR Investigates.
Okay, I don't know what that was about, but all right. Was it 8 minutes ago? JLR Investigate live viewers have tanked to almost pre-Nancy Guthrie coverage numbers. Yeah. 2,000. Wow. I'm playing a little bit of catch up here because I was busy all weekend. So let's see what else we can. Milo is going to be the next Charlie Kirk. Targeting fraud underway in Minnesota. What?
The Learning Center. And Brooke Taylor has more on that and what they're looking for. Brooke, good morning.
A learning center.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Yeah, we have had a photographer there at the daycare since this morning, capturing video of those federal agents just going in and out of the building, collecting evidence as part of the DOJ's fraud investigation in Minnesota. Take a look at this video here. Sources tell Fox that federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis this morning. And sources say many of them are tied to Somali-owned operations. All of this comes comes after that viral YouTube video from Nick Shirley. It was back in December. In that video, he visited different child care centers, and you'll remember they were either closed or there were just no children inside, despite receiving state child care funding. Now, the location that you're looking at right now, it's the Quality Learning Center. This is the daycare. It went viral. It blew up on social media because of a sign outside with learning that was literally misspelled.
I remember that. The learning was misspelled. I'm dyslexic, and I knew that was misspelled. Mhm. King Charles. Oh, you guys want to see this? King
Queen
Charles coming in.
Camilla to the White House. This is part of a 4-day visit to the States. Today, the king will meet with the president and the first lady. Tea will be served, and then there will be a closed-door meeting. There is King Charles greeting President Trump, shaking hands. The king will then deliver remarks at
Diana
about 2 o'clock this
forever.
afternoon before a joint
Whatever your name
session
is.
of Congress. That will be the first time that a monarch will do so since his mother, Queen Elizabeth, gave that speech in 1991. So they'll stand for their photos. It's about 57.
So when he passes away, she doesn't get shit. She is going to be poor again. So she has been trying to get him to write her kids into his will so that when he dies, because I believe he has cancer, she's gonna have money. She's gonna have everything that's in that palace. I don't know if he ever did it.
Degrees, according to my weather app. A little bit rainy in Washington, D.C., but Mike Vaquera is there, and he says the rain's going to stop pretty soon. Hey, Mike.
I think it may have already stopped, so I guess that's kind of fortuitous. Maybe divine intervention or one gun salute. That artillery, those artillery pieces lined up on the ellipse, which is in the same direction that the principals there are facing, just south of the White House. So this is a rare treat, afforded only to America's closest allies. As we listen to the anthems now that are going to be played, and I'm going to stop talking very shortly here when the national anthem starts. But a lot of ceremony here afforded to only America's closest allies. This is an official state visit as they now proceed to the dais where they will be delivering remarks. There will be a so-called pass and review. We understand the first ever on the South Lawn. What that simply means is that instead of the two principals, well, there it looks like we're going to have the review right now, the review of the troops, or at least a greeting of the dignitaries there. And the vice president, of course, shaking hands with the king as he goes down with the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of War. I think we know these familiar faces at this point. So a lot of symbolism here, a lot of oh, there you see the king. A lot. He's joking that that's his ambassador to the UK. That he came to him and stopped and didn't shake his hand. I guess he spent a lot of time with him over the last 24 hours and the last several weeks here. So a lot of a friendship here, a lot of ceremony, a lot of good vibes, I guess you would say.
God, I can't stand Camilla. I absolutely despise her. If you watch the show on Netflix about them, jeez, and just the bullshit she's posting, the way she I remember when Diana died. My mom woke me up. She's like, "Princess Diana died." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Come on, it's on TV." It was like 7 o'clock at night, I think here. I was taking a nap. I don't know what I was doing. I was like in 7th or 8th grade. I don't remember. But I remember when she died and we watched it on TV. And I'm convinced that Charles, or at the time it was Queen Elizabeth, I'm convinced that I don't want to say she did it or she gave the word to it to happen, but the guy driving the car was drunk. And this was when Charles and Diana were separated. I don't know if they were divorced or not yet. I can't remember, but I believe some higher power paid some paparazzi, because that's what happened. The guy crashed because of flashes from the paparazzi. You know, he was drunk, flashes from paparazzi. Yeah, I don't think it was an accident. What is this? Not only is 857 a liar, ooh, but don't forget to when a cop is running your license. What the fuck? I'm not gonna even watch it. I want to check out because nerdy. Oh my god, nerdy. Not nerdy. I'm sorry. White boy. I seen the video this morning that he posted, and it's funny. Let me see if he's got it on here. We can watch it. April 27th. What is David 28th? What is this? Yes, there isn't a single role phrase as you cannot go to. Let's make it bigger because I can't see it. Oh, why is it Chat GPT? What the fuck? I don't want Chat GPT. You cannot go to whatever that is. Go crime scene for views. Must be. But YouTube has multiple policies that can hit that kind of content, especially if it looks exploitative, sensationalized, or graphic. Ooh, I know what he's doing. Advertiser-friendly content guidelines, and it gives the rest of it. Ooh, I know who that's pointed at, Mr. JLR. Oh my god, this is hilarious. I don't know if you guys seen this or not. Guys, I'm out here chasing this destructive tornado in sunny South Florida. If you don't know, White Boy also lives in Florida. Please pray for my family. I'm doing this because I'm definitely media. Your lying eyes will tell you it's a tree, but have no fear. White Boy the tornado chaser is here. Hypothetically, allegedly, and educational purposes, the tornado. He's making fun of JLR because that's what JLR has been doing now because he sees his views are going down. So, what is this? Oh, what is this? Diddy in prison. He looks happy as can be. What is this? That support. I know you are useless, but JLR investigates and did it again to the same person. Posting their personal info is okay with you. I'm not going to even say the names. You guys can see it for yourself. Jesus Christ. SF investigates arriving at a search in Nevada. Y'all need to go follow him. He has found, last I knew, it was 20 missing people, which you may not think 20 is a lot, but it is a lot considering that a lot of people are never found. It's probably more higher. I haven't really been following SF investigates, but do follow him. He's really good, and he's a private investigator if you don't know who he is. What is this? Salmonella clothes when obtained by I don't know who. I haven't been. Oh, the guy that pew-pewed the correspondence dinner. Okay, let me see. Bullhorn was bragging today about trolling on Sumner Sheriff Facebook page, going back and forth with my client. Here's the post.
Quit fighting for Sebastian, then Tony's time here will all be in vain, and that's not what we're willing to accept. So we've got to, keep going. Keep going. I was fighting with Sumner County, and a freaking stupid ass sheriff, one of their deputies, got on there, and I think it's the one that took me from, where I was when I was arrested, Clarksville. I was arrested by Clarksville because we were at an event for Sebastian when
I'm just gonna drop a little hint. I used to live around that area, and I know exactly where she was at, and I wish I kind of still lived around that area because I would have went undercover just to get video footage. So mad.
Sebastian's mom and piece of crap mom and stepfather decided that they thought it was cute to ruin his event with their bull crap, their lies. That's gonna catch up to him.
Okay, Chris and Katie never did anything. They never called the cops on her or anything as far as I know. I think I know who called, but I'm not sure. I can't remember if they actually said who called the cops because she had a warrant out for her arrest. and they arrested her in Clarksville, Tennessee, which is Montgomery County. And it took like 2 or 3 hours from somebody down in Hendersonville to come and get her and take her down there, and then she was released, and then she got the ROs put on her. Chris and Katie never did anything. They keep their nose clean, unlike Seth Rogers.
Gonna catch up the whole damn county. And so this officer decided to sit there and pop off at his mouth in that chat. That's going to come back and bite him. I can guarantee that. But I didn't stop with him, and I told him that just how I thought about him and the freaking law enforcement. They're saying, "Oh, what you want us to stop what we're doing with all these other kids for Sebastian?" It's like, "Oh, you did not." I mean, that was basically what they were implying. Oh, you did not want to go there with me.
Yes, it sucks. I wish Sebastian was back. I don't even know the kid, but he is from the area that I used to live in. So I feel like he is one of my own because I lived there for a while. But the cops can't they just can't. There's only so many of them, and when a child goes missing, they need all hands on deck because it is a child. Or like if an elderly person goes missing, it's usually all hands on deck because we don't know if they have dementia, or we do know they have dementia or Alzheimer's, and they are lost. It's always all hands on deck, and they can't just keep all these people on Sebastian's case, and it sucks, and I wish they could, but they just can't.
You do not want, sir, you better watch your P's and Q's. And that's what I told that officer. You want to watch P's and Q's with me, sir.
I don't think you did, Betty.
Because you do not want me to unleash how I feel about you and your freaking department.
Oh, you already have.
So if you guys want to go see that, you guys can go right onto Facebook to Sumner County, because me and Officer Klein, Deputy Klein, decided to get back and forth. And if you guys recognize that name, you should. He said I lied about him. I said, no, sir, I did not. I said I got I got pictures of the bruises. You dumbass.
What bruises? Betty, we
those-
watched you get arrested. There was no bruises. You literally stood there and talked to them, and then you had Tony like take your purse and stuff, and then they moved the cop car so that because Clue and fiance, aka Cletus, was there streaming it all because we were waiting for you to get arrested, which was wish Clue still had her channel, but somebody had it taken down. But literally, she walks around to the other side of the car, and they're standing there, and you could see her little feet under the car, and then her feet disappear. There was no bruises, Betty. You probably did it to yourself.
Those were the things that they took, the photos they took. So he does not want to piss me off. I can tell you that. And to sit there and antagonize somebody that could sue him, that was stupid. But
oh my God, I hate Betty. Let's see what this is. Oh no, this is playing. Okay, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Bullhorn Betty. Maybe we can now get someone out there looking for Sebastian Rogers. Where's Sebastian? Matt Klein, Bullhorn Betty. We haven't stopped despite the dictators who laugh but don't help. He's referring to her. She ain't doing a damn thing. She ain't doing a damn thing but standing out there with her bullhorn. If she goes out and looks, I'm going on a vent because I can't stand Betty. But if she goes out and looks, she literally has her phone up on live and she's recording the ground and just yapping away, goes out like 50 feet and then turns around and comes back. That's what her searching is. Okay, Bullhorn Betty. Matt Klein, why no targeted searches in over 2 years? Again, it's my hope we can get teams out there again. It's time to put this case to bed. Thank you. Let me see. Is there another one that has? No, there's not. Okay. Bullhorn Betty. Oh, it's okay. And Matt. Okay, Matt says Bullhorn Betty. Changed your once now, since you know they haven't stopped the investigation. Every tip. Keep going. Oh, she wrote a book. Keep going. Okay. Bullhorn Betty. Matt, you do not want me to give you a piece of my mind. Sir, I will tell you that what I've watched from your police department and everything I know from what I've watched around this country or county, country, whatever. You guys are by far at a whatever. I'm dyslexic. So I know I wouldn't be taking a little victory lap there, buddy. I'd get your shit together and start searching for a boy that's been missing from your community for 2 years, and I'd watch your P's and Q's with me. Take care. That's where she said. She didn't say it to his face like she's acting like she did. No, she said it in a freaking comment. Okay, Matt said to Bullhorn Betty, since you've been caught in lying. Shit. Oh, this is great. This is so great. Caught in lies and fabrications. Oh, yeah, she fabricated Gabby Petito's water bottle. I know I'm not going to give the name out of the other person that was there that I think did it, but I know Betty was in on it. I don't hold your peace of mind in high regard. This office has solved more crimes in the last 18 months than you ever have. Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. We understand since you said it that controversy is how you drive clicks to your various pages, and that is your income source. Whoever did this is freaking awesome. Okay, Betty to Matt. Really? I've been caught fabricating lies. No, everything is being appealed because of you guys lying on paperwork. Because of you guys lying on paper. This doesn't make sense. But anyways, see you in court, buddy. Oh my God. Matt to Betty. I've never lied about you on my paperwork, nor have I ever filed, or no, I'm sorry, nor have I ever filed any paperwork on you, nor am I involved in a court case with you. But you did lie about an incident. I could be the plaintiff in that regard. Ooh. Okay, Betty to Matt. I didn't lie. You can't lie about bruises, sir, especially ones that are visible enough to photograph. Photos were taken. Okay, Matt to Betty. Not caused by me. You were confused. I'm talking about something else. I know you lied about an incident in TN and fabricated evidence. Ooh, I wonder what that is. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this situation. I'm just waiting. If you file in Tennessee, that would lead to a felony in which you would be the defendant. Ooh. Oh, there's fucking Anya. Let me see. What is this guy? This Chris guy. That is incorrect. Many tips have not been investigated. Come on now. This has been reported by many. You aren't fooling anyone. Sonia. Matt, what about the officers that flipped off Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' father? I guess that is okay, right? That's because Seth was running his fucking mouth. I'm getting pissed now. I can't stand Seth Rogers. I absolutely despise this man. He was running his mouth. Betty was outside of the sheriff department and she was, doing bullhorn Betty shit, being annoying. And she had Seth there and was interviewing Seth. And some officers come walking up, like they're going into work or they're coming off a break. Whatever they were doing outside of the building, they were walking into the building. And Seth just started shooting off his mouth. Just shooting off his mouth. And he got flipped off. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what you get. Christina, Sonia, it's not illegal to flip someone off. I wish I could like this. Okay. Oh, Blank Screen has entered the chat. Blank Screen has entered the chat. Oh, this is going to be good. I know him. He's cool. Okay, Blank Screen to Matt. Don't expect nothing from a flop at life loser like Bullhorn Betty. And this is all her mugshots. There's so... Oh my God. Come on, go up. Okay. Blank Screen to Bullhorn Betty. Ooh! Okay, so backstory. Betty hates Blank Screen. Okay, she absolutely despises Blank Screen Because when he started, he has his own channel on here. It's blank screen. When he started on here, he was a troll. He trolled her so hard. He became the ultimate troll on here. I'm not gonna lie. And then one night he decided he was gonna go into Betty's live and typed in the word grifter into her live stream chat, but one letter at a time. He only got to R. Wait, yeah, he got to R, and she freaked out and said she was gonna call the FBI, but yet she muted her mic so nobody could hear her. So we don't even know if she actually called the FBI. Why would you call the FBI? But yeah, like it's hilarious. She hates blank screen. This is gonna be good. Hey, blank screen and bullhorn Betty. Oh, shut up. You strangled and bruised up your ex-husband. There is reports about this. This is fact. And then here's blank to Betty again. You're a weak bee. Always want to take someone to court because you can't challenge nobody can't challenge nobody talking points. What's the matter? You can't handle the heat? Okay, then blank screen to her again. You lied on Katie Proudfoot's name on your live streams about harming her missing child when there's no evidence of it. There is no, I don't think there's any evidence. Come on. Okay, what did Lori say? So they should focus on one case instead of disgustingly high number of sex offenders they are getting off the street. Just leave them alone to do their thing and violate multiple children. Got it. Yeah, I don't whatever. Mm. Matt to Lori. It's about clicks on pages for the influencers. I like this Matt Klein guy. Betty DeLore, wow. Now I know why you guys keep re-electing idiots to run the sheriff's department. And then she comes at Lori again. Lori, this child's mother most likely unalived him, like literally physically unalived the child, and you're talking about somebody looking at pictures and giving them applause saying, "Oh, we're getting easy criminals off the street." Dude, Betty, listen up. Listen up, Betty. That's a drawn out sentence. I'm dyslexic and I even know there should be periods or commas in there. Girl. Oh my God. But we leave the real rotten ones, the ones that can literally do those crimes on the streets. Got it. Congratulations, Sumner County Sheriff. Betty is not making friends. Come on, so I can get it all. Okay, here we go. Lori to Betty. You don't even live here and you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Somebody over here, this person said it too. Whoever this Angie said something like that too. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Every single post, someone like you has to step in and minimize the importance of removing the exploitation of minors and child grapers off our streets. Those people sound pretty rotten to me. Wonder what their parents feel about your comments. No one has forgotten. No one has given up. I'll pray for you. Bless your heart. In case you didn't know, in the South, saying bless your heart to someone stupid is saying F you. Okay. Lori to Matt, yeah, it's disgusting. Matt to Betty, you're dismissing getting child ex predators, add in the S, ex predators off the streets because it isn't your topic du jour. I don't know what that means. Both types of cases, all types of cases, are being worked despite the director's efforts trying to derail the efforts through bullying or whatever that word is. Okay, let me get some more going. Okay. Betty to Matt. It seems awfully easy for you guys just to pass the buck and say, hey, look at all the good we're doing so we don't have to go into rest our friends. Betty, are you trying to say that these pedos are the cops' friends? Do you have proof on that, Betty? Because I would really watch what you're saying to law enforcement on law enforcement's Facebook page, you idiot. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Oh my god, I'm starting to get mad because she's so stupid. But most likely unalived their child. We're getting sick and tired of hearing that. You trying to convince everybody that what you guys are doing is right, as opposed to not looking for a child that's missing in period. Your community is appalling to me. Girl, do I need to remind you? Dyslexic over here, that period does not go there. It doesn't go there. God. I have nothing against let me see. I have nothing against arresting bad guys. That should be one word. Okay. Arresting. Okay. Wait. Space resting bad guys that are preying upon children. But you're failing a child in your own community for low targets as opposed to homicide targets. That's the point. That's the point. The rest of us are trying to make you. Okay, give it a second here. Okay. Trying to make you guys are thinking inside of a small box. We're looking from the bird's eye view. At the end of the day, you guys have been arresting people. Oh, look, Betty. There's another R, and it's one word. Girl. I really hope somebody jumped on this post. Some grammar Nazi. I really hope so. Okay, let me see here. The day you guys have been arresting people that are innocent and letting people that are criminals walk, and now you guys want to go after people looking at images while mothers that put their hands around their child's neck and strangle them to unalived. You guys want to give them a free pass. Those are the issues that we, the public, have a problem with. So, Betty, are you saying that these pedos or pedos, whatever you want to call them, on the street aren't an issue either? Like, they're both issues. From parents doing that to their own children, and then to pedos doing their pictures, their videos, whatever the hell they're doing to these kids. They are both equally important. But you just don't like Chris and Katie. You don't. And because they got restraining orders on you. No contacts, whatever the hell they're called. You just don't like them. You also don't like them because I'm pretty sure you probably tried to reach out to Chris Proudfoot in the very, very, very beginning, and he wouldn't give you the time of day because he didn't want what's happening now with Seth on Team Green to happen with him and Katie. And I think Chris and Katie did the right thing. If they want to go up on somebody's panel, if Chris and Katie want to come up here and talk, oh, I am so down for it. I would love to talk to them. I have thought about several times reaching out to Chris on Facebook and just letting him know, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you, but I've been following Sebastian's case. And I just wanted to let you know that I support you. I want to do that, but it's not okay to do that because it is still an active investigation. They are still victims until proven guilty. So I don't reach out to these people. Yeah, I'll research the hell out of them if I want to. I haven't done it, though. I have done it to past cases. But girl. Okay. I need to move on. I need to get this going. Okay. Matt Klein to Bullhorn Betty. You keep making unfounded accusations and posting inaccurate assumptions. Our community is Sumner County, and you just insulted all the citizens of Sumner County. You've been given the opportunity to help, but you don't offer any help. You just misinform people, and that distracts from the efforts. It's shameful. Dude, y'all, if you guys want to drop some money in the Cash App or the Venmo, whichever one you want to do, we need to be buying this guy like pizza or something. Like, we just need to go and be like, I'll put something on there like from, Mick channel on YouTube. Reread your comments with Bullhorn Betty. Way to go, hero. Let's wait till this gets up here a little bit. Okay. Whoever this person is. Matt, wrong. It is about holding our county's corrupt office accountable. I can only hope an investigation into your agency is done sooner than later. I don't know anything about this county. I don't even know if I've ever been to Sumner County because I used to live down around there. I've heard of Hendersonville. Like I know where it's at, but I don't know. That explains why this LE office sits in their office. What? I thought Betty was bad. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. That explains why this LE, I'm assuming officer, sits in their office all day. Maybe looking for pedos online. That's supposed to be one word. Would love to see them actually leave the building. They leave the building all the time to go to their car or go to get lunch. Okay. Bullhorn Betty to Matt. I'm not making accusations against the community. I'm holding the sheriff's department accountable. This is about the people who mishandled the entire crime scene, failing to secure it, failing to conduct proper forensics in a timely manner. No, they did. I'm pretty sure Chris was on somebody's panel. I want to say maybe Queen Bee because he was up there. He goes up there a lot, but don't quote me on it. But I'm pretty sure Chris and or Katie have said that they did the luminol, the blacklight luminol, and they found nothing in that house, no bloodstains. So, kind of be nice if that Matt Klein called her out on this. Let me see. And ultimately allowing those responsible to walk free. We don't know who was responsible, Betty. It could have been Seth for all we know. We don't know who it is. They're out there thumbing their noses at you. How do you thumb your nose? Like, do you just like put your thumb up in your nose and like move it back? Do you wiggle it? Like, how do you thumb your nose? See, thumbing their nose at you, laughing because you refuse to see what's right in front of you. This has nothing to do with the community, sir. She says sir when she gets pissed. So when she gets like going, she'll say sir. Yeah, it's so annoying. This falls squarely on the sheriff's department and sheriff. Oh, hell no. Hold on. Keep going so I can read it all. Oh god. Okay. I'm going to try to get through this without saying that's you. And Sheriff Snuggle Struggles, who likes to act tough, won't even face the public or answer questions about this case. That's not strength, that's avoidance. I'm pretty sure there was a couple press conferences about Sebastian. You fumbled this case, all of you did. Now, you know what case got fumbled? The Nancy Guthrie case is what's got fumbled. Or how about the skeleton boys that went missing? Or skeleton boys, the 3 little boys that went missing. I believe they were from Michigan. That there was 3 bodies just found in Memphis inside a water culvert. As soon as I read that, I immediately thought of those 3 little boys. Because when I lived in Tennessee, their faces were everywhere. And I thought it was a little weird. I'm like, that's really weird. Like, they were everywhere down there around Nashville. So you can take it and leave whatever you want to do with that information. That boy is still missing, and instead of taking action, you're arguing about why you shouldn't even be out there searching for him. It's disgraceful, and I will make sure your community sees exactly how disgraceful it is. Ooh, Betty, that sounds like a threat, girl. So what is it? Is it because the child had challenges? Is that why he's being treated differently? Does he not matter the same as other children? Just because a child has challenges doesn't mean his case gets treated any different from a child who doesn't have challenges. They take every missing child case seriously, and especially the ones that have challenges, they take very, very seriously. Look at that one little girl that went missing. I think it was a little girl. Pretty sure it was. They found her in like a swamp or something, and she was standing on a log. How the hell did she get on that? She had challenges, but they found her. What is it about Sebastian? Or is the entire department afraid of Christopher Proudfoot? Because from where I stand, it looks like cowardice. Come on. Come on. And now you want to arrest me, to silence me in violation of my rights? Girl. It's funny when, let's go back to the Quentin Simon case. Because that sheriff, God, I can't remember his freaking name right now. You didn't like that sheriff. Why didn't you like that sheriff? Why don't you tell us why you really didn't like him? When it's funny though, like when sheriffs will give you the time of day, you're all about them. But when they don't, they're public enemy number one to you. That's funny to me. You're a violation of your rights? What rights? You have the exact same rights as me. You exercise your rights, which is fine. But there's no violations of your rights. When you make threats, then yeah, your rights are going to get taken away. Somebody go unplug her internet. Seriously, somebody go unplug Betty's internet. Oh. No, this has nothing to do with the community. This has everything to do with your failures. You live in here again in a house and drive in a direction without coming into contact with a good number of LE vehicles, depending on the distance I'm driving. See, then that's good because there's always LE out. Now here's Betty trying to rile people up. Lori, you live there and you think it's okay for a child to just disappear and everybody turned the other cheek? I'm sorry you're not a neighbor I would like to live next to. Just a little food for thought. Your horns are showing for the whole world to see. Girl. Betty, you better watch yourself. I can tell you right now, people in Tennessee don't play. They do not play. And you've done pissed off a lot of people down there. Do you really think they're going to help you? Or if, let's say they find Sebastian, Betty, it's a civilian. It's somebody who lives in the community. Who do you think they're gonna call to give all the details to after they've called Ellie? After it's been a day or two? Not you. Not you. And that's gonna piss you off. Okay, Lori to Betty. My neighbors love me, laughing, crying face. Where did I say it's okay for a child to disappear? Those cases matter. His case matters. All children and all crimes committed against them matter. Peace out, man. I'll let you get back to what you're doing to help. Oh, wait. ... Okay, Matt to Betty. More unfounded accusations. You were offered a chance to help. You have declined. Ooh. I want to know what that's about. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. Kimberly Tallori. She does not live here. She does this to every LE office that she goes to. Quentin Simon, Idaho 4, Gabby. They created a law just for her in Florida. Yeah, there is a law. If you follow White Boy, that's why White Boy couldn't or didn't go stand in front of JLR's house. He had to be in a public, very public area. There are not a lot of protests down there in Florida now in front of people's houses because of Betty. Vonda, girl, I read your first one. Woo! Vonda to Betty. What are you doing to assist with locating Sebastian besides criticizing? If you have credible information, report it. If you want to help, but barking orders from a keyboard does nothing for Sebastian. Ooh. Oh, blank screen enters the chat again. Oh, is that it? Oh, that's it. Hold on. Okay. Blank screen to Bullhorn Betty. Sean. Okay. If you haven't heard already, sometimes when people are talking about Seth Rogers, they refer to him as Sean. Because um Dog the Bounty Hunter was doing an interview. Was it with News Nation? He was doing an interview with some TV show, and he called Seth Sean and Sebastian Nicholas. He couldn't even get their names right, and he's supposedly looking for Sebastian, but he couldn't get his name right. So that's where the word Sean comes from. Okay, Betty, Sean, Seth Rogers. Fat Self isn't looking for his son Sebastian, besides him being so obsessed about Katie Proudfoot and can't move the fuck on. That's true. That's the way I see it. Let me see here. What is blanks to Christina? Sonia nicely is Bullhorn Betty's simp. She kisses her ass. Yeah, that is Sonia. I thought that was Sonia. That was interesting. Is this Missy? Canine River, our electronic storage detection canine. Assisted. They get an electronic storage detection dog? That's pretty cool. I didn't know they could do dogs to do that. Assisted crime scene unit personnel, deputies, and detectives in the morning during an execution of a search warrant at a registered Tito's residence. Her first operational search, the offender was taken into custody and charged with multiple counts of aggravated things to minors. We'll leave it at that. River performed well and is already proving to be a valuable assisting and bringing offenders to justice. Good girl, River. That's awesome. I love that. And this, yeah, that's what that freaking was from. That's ridiculous. Oh my god. Okay, I probably need to get off here because I'm gonna start really venting. Yeah, I'm gonna get off here. I'm probably gonna go take a nap. I'm tired. But I wanted to check in, y'all. I'm still alive. I know I need to get on a, you know what? I'm gonna close this tab out so you're not sitting there seeing that. I need to get on a schedule of when I'm gonna do stuff. The more I don't know. I just kind of like doing it every other couple days. You can do a catch-up stream, all that. I don't know. But oh god, I'm irritated now. I shouldn't have read that, but that was a good read though. I should go check it and see if there's any more. But all right, guys, like I always say, if anything pops up, I will be on going over it. I try to keep an eye on X and YouTube, see what's going on, if there's something that needs to be brought to the attention. Like that Betty thing just I've never seen that. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" That needed to be brought out to attention. But all right, guys, I will talk with you guys